Yeah, you were saying you've done London before?
Yeah, it's so fun. It's like, well, I did it with Lisa, so I was guiding her, and it was really fun for her to like turn left to turn right because of the roundabouts.
Yeah.
And like, because she really feels like the textural difference in places.
Gotcha. Like underfoot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like if there's cobblestone, it's like really different. If it's like narrow roads or if it's shady, she can tell things because she's blind, so she's like feeling different senses.
How did you come to support Lisa?
I reached out to a nonprofit when I knew I wanted to run, but I wasn't at the time like feeling like being competitive for myself, and so I asked if they needed like anyone to help, and they had all these men and they had one woman, and she'd never, very rarely had a female guide because she's really fast. And
so she needs a fast
so she needs a fast. Well, and a lot of women who are that fast just want to race themselves.
Yeah.
So like, why would they guide? So we did it here for the first time, and it was like so crazy because I'd never done it before. We didn't know each other that well, and then we've just like every time gotten to know each other more and gotten to know how to be good teammates.
How was the first experience?
It was hard because there wasn't a lot of awareness of like the visually impaired section at all, and we like go after the elites but before thousands, like the main race, and people were like plowing through us or like not letting us take the tangent, which is like the shortest path, right?
Yeah.
And so we were like, it was like dangerous, and I was like, and we didn't have bibs on, that made it very, like we did have a bib, but we didn't have like now I get us like
fluoro,
this, yeah, kind of more obvious. And so it was hard the first year, but I was like, oh, it's because people don't like realize they're that we're here.
Wow. And so how do you go during the race? Like, are you guys having a conversation? Because you know, when I imagine you're doing like an ultra or a trail run, you kind of can get to know someone out on the race.
Yeah.
Is it the same with a marathon, or is she like going for it?
It depends. So so we learned how to communicate, because if we didn't learn how to communicate in a different way, we would have had to talk a lot. We would have to talk a lot about where we are and like move left, move right, or there's a left, you know. But we learned how to communicate through tension in the tether. And that way our conversation can be more about like, how are you feeling, or like motivation or having fun or singing, than just like a little to the left, a little to the right, because she knows how much tension there needs to be.
Sure.
So so we're talking like anyone would talk to like a teammate.
Yeah.
And sometimes she doesn't want to talk at all.
Yeah.
And sometimes she, you know, needs it.
And you've done this a couple of times now?
This is our 5th time.
Wow,
Yeah.
how exciting.
Yeah.
That's so cool. What's your favorite part about it? Because you obviously like, you turn up, you do it 5 times, you must enjoy it.
Yeah, I think because we've also gone all over the world. No, it's our 5th Boston.
Sure.
We've done like Tokyo and London and Berlin and all these other races. And I think my favorite thing is seeing the world through her eyes, because we'll be at in these places and she notices things that we don't notice. And so I think it's just having the experience, being there for someone and trying to also be competitive on her behalf. Yeah. Is really nice.
And it's also really cool because you get to race all of these really great races as well, the major marathons.
Yeah, it's really fun.
I had a friend who is a blind surfer. He surfed like grew up. I think he lost his vision when he was probably 5 or 6. His name's Matt Formston. Really, really incredible guy, and surfs really well. He ended up surfing, you know, Nazaré over in Portugal. Like, he surfed Nazaré at like 40, 50 foot blind. Like, he's got, I think, like 3% vision in one eye, and the other one's like completely zero. I think when he was surfing the big waves, he has an air horn to like when to let go going down the drop, another one to bottom turn, and then another air horn to like pull off. And before our podcast, because typically before we do a podcast, we love to do something with the guests prior, given the fact that Boston's really busy, we just rolled straight into it. But we went for a surf with Matt, me and him, and I was his spotter while we were out surfing. And the biggest thing that I found was this, like, communication is so important. It's like, if a set's coming, it's like, he said, don't over communicate. He's like, I need you to just be like a couple words, like deep, wide, further out. When he wanted to go for a wave, it's go, go, go. But he's like, never say no, because no and go are the same, like they're very similar words.
Yeah.
But it was a really beautiful exercise, and I was like so nervous first time doing it, because like, I don't want to let this guy down. There's so many emotions, because I imagine it'd be quite similar for you. It's like you're there supporting Lisa. Like, you don't want to let her down. It's her race. It's the whole thing. Do you experience that kind of stuff?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we had one time she said she wanted to do a triathlon, and I'm going to say yes to anything she wants me to do, but I had to learn tandem bike and tandem swim, and I'm not a swimmer biker, and I went to like a training camp at the Olympic Training Center, but still, when we tried to do a tandem bike ride one time at a training camp in Texas, we fell in like clip-in shoes in traffic.
Wow.
And like we were okay, but I felt so bad because it was just like a new sport for me too, and it's dangerous. And I felt so bad because like if we fall and she's clipped in, she's like under the bike.
Gotcha.
And we're like in traffic. And so I felt so bad, but it was actually, I think after having that fall that I was like, oh, she understands I'm doing my best. And like, I just need to do my best.
Sure.
And there's no shame in messing up.
Yeah.
And you just do your best, you know?
Why did you first wanted to start getting in supporting?
Well,
where did that come from?
I think I was not feeling at that time like particularly wanting to compete myself, but I also didn't want to just like aimlessly run. Like I was like, I still need to orient. And I did feel like helping someone would make me feel like there's like purpose. If there could be, right? There's no better purpose than helping someone if they need help. So I think I just was like, I love running. I still want to be in the sport. I don't want to do it the same. And then I learned about that and thought maybe this would be like a good way to like experience the community of the marathon. Because I wasn't a competitive marathoner. I was a track runner.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I like marathon, but I don't feel that urge to do it hard myself in that way.
I think it's so interesting. I'm studying psychology at the minute, and there was a study that we were recently looking at where they compared a lot of elite ultra endurance runners, and firstly like how they were able to work through these like really incredible like long distance races from like a pain point of view. The two researchers, one was a researcher in palliative care and the other one was a researcher of pain. And essentially they did this huge literature review on these like incredible like this huge participant group, and it boiled down to a few things, but one of the things was intrinsic and extrinsic motivators. And people who are more likely to have like intrinsic motivators, so are more likely driven by meaning, purpose, potentially like a charity or an organization or a loved one, they were way more likely to have positive success and look back on a really hard experience with like fond memories. And so when I hear you talk about that, I think, oh, that's really beautiful that while you didn't want to dive into the competitive scene, it's like you still wanted that passion. I think that's really beautiful.
Yeah, and you're also like, there's a puzzle to it too, right? Like, it's not easy. Like, you don't expect it to be easy to help someone because you can't read their mind.
Yeah.
There's two people in a thing that normally is one, you know, it's not normal to have two side by side. So there's also like this element of like, kind of wanting to like figure it out. That feels expansive too. But yeah, I think the intrinsic thing is really interesting. And I think even when you do have an extrinsic motivation, there's something intrinsic, you just might not have recognized it.
Sure.
And it might not be the right one, right? And so maybe everyone always has some deeper need.
Yeah.
They just might not be aware of it.
Has there been a common theme throughout your running journey intrinsically? Or because you know how people like would do a project or an event and they would attach a mantra or potentially a charity or something towards this project. Have you seen that in your own stuff, or has there been a common theme throughout your journey?
I think before the Olympics, I wasn't aware of the intrinsic side. It was much more like, of course you want to go to the Olympics.
Yeah.
And so you just chase that. And I think it's only after, and I might not be alone in this, that like once you reach this like pinnacle and peak, you realize like it doesn't solve for something, and then you're like, wait, what was it supposed to solve for? And then you're like, oh, there's something else going on and some other need. And so I think I became more aware of like the intrinsic needs after, and then knowing that I think for me it was like wanting to matter and have something permanent that can't be taken from me, and these things, and you're like, oh, you already matter, you know, like I had to solve for the ones that were like driving me in a problematic way, and then your life can open up to seeking the ones that are like, I think, more positive at the start.
Sure. I think for those who are listening, like we're very much like an Australian audience, and so for those who are listening who don't know you and don't know your background and don't know the fact that you've been to the Olympics and that you're a record holder and you've done incredible things in your journey, what do you think are the key experiences that you've had throughout your journey, youth, career that you think would be important to talk about?
That's a great question. Well, I almost just said, I have Greek cousins in Australia and I've never met them.
We should come over. Like, I think Australia would look good on you. I think it would look really good on you.
And one of my favorite au pairs. So the reason why I had au pairs, I had these like babysitters from abroad growing up, is because I lost my mom really young when I was 4, and she took her own life, and that was like very confusing, and I think created like a lot of like survival mechanism in me, and like confusion for sure. And sports were a great way for my dad to like make sure my brother and I learned how to fall down and get back up without necessarily knowing how to talk about it and these things. And then I think evolved to teach me how to think and how to navigate and how to really have my own back. But I think the meaningful points in the journey were like, like that young early age experience, finding sports as like an outlet for better. Like sports are amazing, and played all sorts of sports growing up. And then after the Olympics, had this really intense dip, because I mean, most Olympians I know do, because it's such a big moment. And to each their own, it's very unique, I think, for everybody. For me, it was really extreme, I think partly because I was so afraid of having like a depression because of my mom. And so I think by rejecting it and not wanting to go there, it just got worse. And then learned in like the years after the Olympics how to like approach mental health, like what it really was. And in that time, moved away from competitive sport, but still wanted to play sports, right? Hence the guiding and running with Diplo and like doing all these other ways of being a part of a sport I love. And now I'm actually training for the first time in like 10 years maybe. And so I feel like this interest in it in a different way, but I'm not doing it like I used to. So it's with like a new mindset and with like a more well-rounded life. So I'm still guiding Lisa, but then I have a competitive race in a week, for example.
That's, thank you for sharing. I feel like there's so many, I'm sure that's a very summed up version of the whole roller coaster.
And then I do a lot of art as well, which is why there's poems on the wall right now.
And I will say, for those who are listening to this podcast and not watching it, we are sitting, we're in Boston, we're in the Therabody activation, and Alexi's got like all these incredible artwork. Can you run me through a little bit about this and how this came to light?
Yeah, so I mean, I think that the Therabody team is, first of all, so cool because I think it's a company that like uniquely is meant for athletes that are more than just athletes. Even though the equipment is like, these tools are helping us be athletes, they're, I think, helping us recover more holistically. And so the Therabody team approached me about, you know, was I open to doing an artistic collab at this Boston Marathon activation. And I was so excited because I've been very rarely, I think, asked to do something like this. I mean, this is the first time that I've ever seen my poetry on a wall.
When you walked in, the smile on your face was so beautiful.
Crazy. Well, it's cool because sport, it used to be that you needed to like just be an athlete or just an artist. And I really kept those worlds separate because I wanted to be a world-class athlete and a world-class artist.
You're not allowed to be both. How dare you be both? Have more than just your sport.
You weren't allowed to be both. And you also didn't need anybody to be okay. Like I was like, it's okay if someone only sees me as an athlete or only as an artist.
Yeah.
But today, and especially this, is such a demonstration of like, you actually are allowed to be both, and one can inform the other, and they can exist at the, you know, the most kind of coveted marathon in the world. So this is amazing. And it's even my handwriting, which is so funny because I wasn't even like, let me write in better than my handwriting. Like, I don't have like the best handwriting.
I think it's cool.
But that is my handwriting. I'm a lefty too, so it's like, I feel like it's a little awkward to write as a lefty.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful that they were like, yeah, don't make your handwriting like better than it is. This is fine.
Just make it normal. Because you've got like these, how does it work? Because you've got a few different quotes here, like pain reminds us how precious we are. If I would have known in advance, it wouldn't have been as beautiful. Like you've got
these are wrong. Oh, we need to switch these.
Either way around.
These have to be switched. They need to switch these because this is supposed to be before you run, and that's after a workout.
I get you.
Oh my God, they need to switch these. We need to tell them.
This is great. This is great audio podcast.
Yeah, thank God. We found the mistake here.
Hey, this is why we do these things.
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
They got the left and the right foot correctly. So the way it was, I mean, we found Brendan, who was going to do these photos, and I sort of started writing all these little like ephemera. Like these aren't full poems; they're kind of like thoughts, like ephemeral thoughts.
Yeah.
And then we found like which ones were speaking to him and me, what was speaking, and then which images change how you see the poem. And which poems help change how you see the image. Because that's the only reason that those should exist in the same space. Like, I really believe in, like, you know, if it's going to be a book, it needs to be a book and not a movie. If it's going to be a movie, it's like, why is it a movie, not a book? And so with these, it was really like, you know, if I would have known in advance, it wouldn't have been as beautiful. You'll understand it when they're switched.
Well, I think now looking at it, I understand.
Yeah, it's like, we need to switch these now.
But how, so are these all photos that you've collected along your journey, or were these specifically shot for this expedition?
A little bit of both. So Brendan had, the crowd shot was his from another time. The foot shot was of me, but not recent. That was sometime after I ran 100 miles.
I was going to say, you got some pretty gnarly blisters on there.
Yeah, I think that was right after I ran like Leadville 100.
Wow. Because
like, why does my foot look like that? That's like definitely post-ultra marathon,
yeah, I was going to say, I was like, that's a big race. That's a big race.
This one we took at my house in this hot tub, and I actually find it like quite like disturbing to look at. Like, it bothers me, but I also am like, he loved it so much, like his own image. And I love this, like, pain reminds us how precious we are, because it was hard to hold underwater. So there's something about that like I find provocative, but it's also because I'm seeing like a weird image of myself.
Yeah, I gotcha.
This is that before and after feeling, which is, you know, if I would have known in advance, it wouldn't have been as beautiful. I mean, I think where that really came from is like how your life turns out. Like, it's so your life is so serendipitous in retrospect, but you can't know that, right, going in. And so we used like a before and after workout picture just to like give that sense of like before and after a big experience. And I think knowing we're like in this physical world here at the Boston Marathon, doing a workout made sense.
That's such a beautiful analogy for your life, right? Like,
for sure.
Even hearing briefly like what you just said about like with your mum, and then transitioning out of like the Olympics and professional sport, it's kind of like you've got the before and then now you've got the after, and you can kind of see, you can see both of them retrospectively, which is really interesting.
Sorry, I just like kind of. Yeah, I agree. And then that was another one of his images from before, but we paired it with this a dream come true happens very, very slowly, then all at once.
What were you thinking when you wrote that? A dream come true happens very, very slowly, then all at once.
That you just put so much time that nobody sees into like everything.
Yeah.
Like, and what you're becoming takes so long and so many moments and minutes, you know? And then there's like, I feel like there's always a moment where, I mean, obviously there's some dreams that you know culminate in a second or two or a day. But I think also like growth you go through, you know it when you've gone through it, but it takes, you're mostly in the time that it hasn't happened yet.
Can you give me an example?
Yeah, I mean, I think like the Olympics is an easy one, right? And then a harder one to give would be
We can do both.
Yeah.
We got time.
Well, the Olympics happens very, very slowly, then all at once, because you put everything you have into the training, and it's a lifestyle sport, at least with running.
Yeah.
So you are thinking about it all the time, even when you're not doing it. It's like running on a program running in your head all the time of like, yeah, am I recovering enough? Am I sleeping enough? Am I doing enough? And then it really happens for you if it does. And that's very clear, I think. With other dreams, I mean, I like watching myself like grow up into somebody I'm proud of, but it takes like a really long time to feel, for example, like if you have a fear, you can't just like say, don't be afraid. Or if you don't believe in yourself, you can't just say believe in yourself. Like you cannot force those things, but you can commit and take your disbelief or your fear with you. And then you earn eventually, just by doing, you can earn belief in yourself by like showing yourself and then actually believing.
For me, I'm very logical. I'm very much like, okay, that's awesome. So let's talk about the fear, right?
Yeah.
I've got this thing that I'm really scared of, and
Yeah.
I understand that we can overcome these fears with time. I agree with you. But what would be your like steps for someone like me who is very logical?
If you're afraid?
Yeah.
Well, I guess like, it's like an existential fear. Like, do you want to tell me about a fear of yours?
Yeah. Well, you're asking me to be vulnerable on my own podcast, Alexi. What do you mean?
Well, what's the fear? Yeah.
What's a fear of mine? You know what? My partner, she asked me this when we first started dating, and I was like, I don't really have that many fears. Like, I'm not really scared of too many things. But we just found out that we've got a baby on the way. So I'm going to be a dad in like.
That's amazing. Congrats.
In, I don't know, more than a couple of months. She's 20 weeks, so whatever the conversion is.
Oh,
yeah. And
that's
so,
awesome.
so I think now the fear would be like, so many things, like not being able to provide for them, or making sure that she's healthy, both my partner and the baby, our little girl, all the parent things. You know?
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
No, but I want kids.
Yeah, gotcha. So I feel like, if you would have asked me like maybe 18 months ago, I would have said, like I would really have to dig to try and find some fears. But now I'm like, oh my God, I've got so many fears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like with those, it's like, again, like they're not going to go away because your fears are just cares, right? Like you care to provide, you care that they're healthy and all these things, but you can't like, you don't have a guarantee. It sounds like the fears are things you don't have the guarantee of, right? But you care about. And it's like, I think the logical answer would be like, then those become your priorities, right? And that's the best you can do is prioritize the things that matter to you.
Yeah.
And again, I think that the fear is just like a companion in a car that you're driving. Like you're driving the car, but the fear, it goes with you and it watches you as you do actions in the world that show it that you know that it exists. And then maybe it slowly goes away. Maybe it never goes away because some of these things, like your child being healthy, might be like a fear you have into perpetuity. And that is something that you just have like daily awareness of, and maybe remind yourself, maybe it's illogical eventually of they're as healthy as they could be within my control, you know?
I do like that idea of like almost like moving in life like with that fear, and then giving yourself almost like small wins, or you're almost like building confidence within yourself within like that fear, if that makes sense. So say if like maybe a more, I don't want to say shallow fear, but like maybe a more topical fear, given the fact that we're like here at Boston Marathon, might be running a marathon for someone. So if they're at the start of the marathon, they sign up, I think that would be like incredibly brave. It can be scary for a lot of people. And then they work through the training block, they get through their training block, they might have done their last long run, and then I imagine the fear is still going to be with them until they get to the race day, and then they complete the race and they look back and it's like a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like a shorter example of like working through life with the fear.
How do you do it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the race example, and to have like the awareness. You know, people are. It is a really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard to run a marathon.
Yeah.
And I think, like, I guess the thing that comes to mind is, so I've been thinking a lot about, like, this isn't the same, but I think about Lindsey Vohn's like decision to compete in the Winter Olympics this year, and how she wasn't like guaranteed. Nobody's guaranteed like their results. But what I thought was so beautiful is she like competed and got really injured, and she made this social media post that said like, essentially she like said, I was there to give myself a chance. I wasn't there to like necessarily get gold. I was if it was in the cards for me, right? And what I think is so beautiful is like, if you're afraid of something like running a marathon, that's a privilege and a choice you make to give yourself the chance. You don't give yourself the result. You will get whatever comes, right? But the beautiful thing is like giving yourself a chance. And so I think that some of the like, I think a lot about these things as like call and response. Like, okay, you have a fear of, will it go well, won't it, Then there's the facts of like, I can't know unless I do it. And then there's the privilege, which is I'm gonna give myself a chance. And that's like, it's a really beautiful thing to give ourselves chances in life, if we can, whatever those chances are.
It's kind of like putting yourself in the arena.
Yeah, and like saying, I deserve a chance.
Do you think that we can work through our fears if we don't confront them? Do you think we need to almost look at our fears face on and work through it to be able to work past them?
Yeah, in a way. Like, I don't know that you have to like do like exposure therapy for every fear. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that that's how it works, but I do think like to problem solve through it and figure out like, is this like, it depends on the fear, but yes, otherwise it is like a looming cloud that like you can't grab if you're not like grounding it at all.
What's an example of fear that you've worked through?
Well, I got in touch with like my worst fear at one point because I was like, underneath, I worked with these sports psychologists, and we realized, or I feel like I really realized it on my own, is that like, if I asked about like the fear under the fear of a lot of the things I go through, it goes back to like a similar one fear. And mine was like, will I survive? Which is like not everybody's fear, but mine, like with the way I grew up, it was like felt very, there've been a few things that have happened in my life where it's like, it feels like something is just like gone that is meant to be supportive.
Do you mean
like my mom? And there's just like a few instances after that that were very much like, you're on your own. Like that's what it has felt like. And so I've grown muscles that can take care of myself, but there's still that fear. Can I do that? And so when I got in touch with that, it was like really helpful because I was like, okay, what happens if the worst happens? Like, because if this fear isn't going away, then I need to like have a solution. I need to know what happens if it happens. And this, I think, doesn't apply to everybody's fear.
Yeah.
Because some people's fears are probably like, am I good? Like, you know, am I worthy or something that like it's not tangible. Mine seems to be like, I'll end up with like, I'll lose everything. I'll have nothing. Won't even be able to like, I don't know, eat or something like that.
How did you come to that conclusion?
Because I just kept asking myself, what's the worst part about this? What's the worst part about this? Which is what the sports therapist, psychologists helped me with. They kept asking me that for anything I was going through. It didn't always go back to that. Like sometimes things are much more surface level.
Yeah.
But the really, really deep ones were like, it wasn't even like the abandonment thing was the worst part. It was like there was something else worse, which was the survival thing. So again, what I'm saying is like to each their own. But for me, getting in touch with it was really helpful because I don't want to be driven by that. So you need to be aware of your worst fear because it might drive you to make decisions. It might not be realistic, which mine is really not. And I have every reason to believe that I can survive. I do. But I solved for it I I like called my best friend and I was like, can I just like tell you? And I told like 3 of my best friends, like my worst fear. And then they were like, okay, like if that happens, like you'll move in with me. I'll cook you dinner. We'll figure this out. And like, that was what it took for me to be like, really, like, I'm glad you know this and like we've solved for it. So now I don't really have a reason to be afraid in that way anymore. And I've become so much more fearless because if that's at the core of like some of the hardest feelings I have, and I know there's like a solution if everything goes awry, then I don't have a reason to not be courageous and like brave and take leaps that challenge that fear.
You said that this one fear was kind of like the catalyst of all different other fears. Did the other fears kind of dissipate once you really got in touch with that main fear?
They should. They like nothing is easy, right?
Yeah.
But I can, if I go slow, I think part of this is like we have to slow down and like understand. Like we need to slow down between our first like reaction and feelings and like our actual action. And so I think it has helped me. I don't know if I've been able to ask that question enough. So probably is the answer.
Yeah.
But I still have so much more wisdom I need to get. I don't even know if I'm there yet.
I don't know if we'll ever get there, but we're working through it.
Yeah, but it's helping me a lot with like, in a fundamental way, to have figured out like you have less reason to be afraid than you think you do in general. So like if I feel fear, I know that like probably I can solve for it, or I already have.
That's a really cool confidence to have.
It's great. Then life gets hella fun.
Yeah.
Life is so much more fun now. It's like really fun because you basically make an agreement with yourself to do the action despite the fear. Because it doesn't mean that I don't have it. It means that I know that I've had a conversation during a really like conscious time where I have solved for it. So the feeling doesn't bother me as much. It would be like, okay, what's like a sensation that you get used to as like an adult? Like flossing like doesn't feel that good, but if you like know like this is fundamentally a good thing, like you can handle it or something. Flossing isn't actually. Flossing does feel good for people. What's something that you become like really accustomed to the sensation, and you know as an adult it's not a threat, but as like a kid it feels threatening?
Maybe like eating your vegetables.
You hate it that much?
I hated it when I was a kid. I wasn't allowed to leave the dinner table until I had my vegetables.
Do you like them? It has to be something that's still not the most pleasant, but you're okay with.
Well, there's certain vegetables that I don't like to eat, but I'll eat them because I know they're good for me.
Okay.
This paints me like I don't like vegetables. I love vegetables.
Which vegetables don't you like?
I don't like beetroot.
Okay.
I don't like beetroot, and to be honest, like not the biggest fan of tomatoes either. But I have a beautiful garden at home, and I love growing food. Like
that's awesome.
Like my whole family's like green thumbs.
Really?
So I
need to learn from you. I really want to be better.
Oh well, like there is nothing more beautiful than like growing your own food. But anyway, we're diverting.
Okay, but I want to come back to that another time.
We'll talk about it at dinner.
You can be my mentor for that, please.
all your vegetables die. Like thanks, Keegs.
No, I really want.
But that was the thing. Like I love growing food, and I love eating like really nutritious. I like the way it feels for my body and for my brain and clear. Like I love the way I feel. But there's a lot of the times I don't like some of the vegetables I grow. Yeah. But I'm like, I want to perform really well. I want to recover really well. So that's part of it.
So going back to this thing, it's like really that I was talking basically about things that are like sensations but not threats. And so like if you are so familiar with your fear and you've solved for it, then even when you have the feeling, the sensation of fear, you understand it's not a threat. And so maybe that's how you feel eating vegetables, and like a kid is like, bad threat, and you're like, oh no, help.
Get away from me, mom and dad.
Yeah.
I think this is such a beautiful thing, because I imagine there are so many people, like, and me included when I was younger, like, that can not be paralyzed by fear, but really get stuck in it. Like,
for sure.
Like really ruminate on
Or sit for coffee with it for way too long when you're like, you should be having coffee with a real person.
100%.
Not a fear.
And we expend so much energy into this fear, and it takes up so much brain capacity.
So much,
way
too much.
And then you think, well, imagine if I just didn't have a problem with this.
Yes.
Imagine if I could just escape this little prison that I'm in. And I love what you said. You mentioned before, once you I guess like overcame or came to terms with this one fear, so you became fearless.
Totally fearless.
This idea of being fearless.
As fearless as I've ever been. I'm sure there's more fearless you can get. I'm sure as like a parent you become fearless in a way you don't, like I'm sure there's dimensions to fearlessness, but I feel more fearless than I've ever felt, and less, I'm wasting way less time.
Wow.
Like because there is this element of your time is wasted on what you put your energy into and what you're spending your energy on.
Wow.
So if it's not getting diverted all the time, or if the minute you feel it like heading in that direction, you can like rein it in and stay the course that you intend to.
Yeah.
And you know, fear and anxiety is like actually meant to help us, right? So there's some things where like you should stop and pivot if there's like the bear chasing you, or like, you know, these things. But if you can ask yourself, is this a real threat, or is this just fear or anxiety with some invisible, you know, imprint that I'm doing right now, or whatever happens when people get anxiety or fear that's not in the real present in front of them. That's the like navigating that we can get like really fit with. I think it's kind of like a fitness thing too, to like be able to move with it quicker.
Yeah, I think I agree. I think and having the awareness know that you can actually like change the neuroplasticity in your brain is like really cool. That same article that I was mentioning before, one of the other traits I guess that they mentioned was that the ability to cope with pain can actually be trained. You're not actually fixed in your mindset. So if you have a particular mindset or a particular thought pattern that like I can't do hard things, or that's a really, really easy example. I can't do hard things. There's no way I could run a 10K. There's no way I could run a half marathon, a marathon. But with time and with repeated exposure, we can actually train our brains to be able to do these things, which is so cool. And it kind of tells yourself, like what you mentioned about like training your thoughts. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that is really encouraging too, because it means if you don't like something, you can just change it.
Well, the ability that we can actually change our reality is so inspiring. Like the way you talk about like I was A, I did B, and now I'm C. I don't mean to put us in a box like that. But knowing that we can actually change our realities, I think is super inspiring.
Yeah.
I think that is so cool.
Yeah, and it's fun and it's mysterious, which is entertaining and cool too.
Yeah.
Like not all of this is about like, can I be the best performer, but like there's something great about knowing you don't know what you will become is like kind of a delightful reason to get up every day too. To like just want to see how it goes. Did
you ever think that you would have the amount of success that you'd have when you were a little kid? Like, did you ever think that this was going to be the reality?
I don't think so. I don't know what I mean, I had a secret like confidence. Like I was like, I believe, but I think that also was like an adaptation of like, I'm either like nobody or I'm special because of like what happened. Like I think it was very much like you're special in a bad way, or you could feel that there's something special in a good way, and it wasn't very fun to feel like you were like the bad luck person. So I think there was like a decision to be like something about this will like it will be good. But now I don't know. I don't really think that much about like success and all this stuff is like, it really places you like next to other people. Like, 'cause what is success? It's like you're better than people. Like, I don't really like, I guess I don't think about it that much because it doesn't really motivate me at all. What motivates me is like the kind of mischief that I feel I can uniquely contribute to the world and to like express myself.
What do you mean by mischief? Because I've heard in other chats or conversations that you've had that you consider yourself a bit of a rascal.
Definitely.
Is that kind of like the same thing, mischief?
Yeah, it's like I want to know what I can uniquely do. It doesn't mean the best. It means like strangely only me in a way that like intersects with like a moment in time in the universe and what's happening in the world, because I like people and I like the world. I like life. So like I want to be like, what's my like place on the baseball field of this world, and let me like play it in a way that adds and like makes this game different than it's ever been.
Wow.
Because otherwise we're just like repeating things, which feels boring. And so the mischief and like the why really comes from like first you have to spend years and years and years figuring out what you're uniquely like able and want to and enlivened by doing, right? Which I think is like kind of our 20s of like our sport, or for other people just like self-actualizing. And then it's like, cool, I know who I am-ish, like it's always changing, but like I know sort of, I have a grasp on myself. And like now, how does that, like, how can that go play in the world?
That's really cool. How did you find your little thing?
It was really labyrinthian. Like I was, I liked other sports more than I liked running, for example. But I had a feeling that I could like running. It just wasn't, I wasn't in the right environment until college, which was, so maybe it's like, you really have to follow like a feeling that something has potential, like a little like, and it could just be a tiny little feeling of like, I think something about this is something.
Yeah.
Right?
I love
Do you
that.
feel that way?
I completely agree. There's have you read 7 Frames of Mind?
No.
It's a really incredible book. I always thought that there was like 2 types of intelligence like in the world, like book smart and street smart. Like you're either like really academic or you're just like good with people and like maybe kind of sporty potentially. And what this guy talks about, Howard someone, I forgot his last name, but he talks about how there's like all these different types of intelligence. So you might be really like logical and good with like pattern recognition, or you might be really good in sport. Intrapersonal intelligence is around like understanding people's emotions and kind of like emotional intelligence with other people. There's like 7 or 8, maybe even 9 different types of intelligence. And typically, like all of us, like we're good at one of them. Sometimes 2, but typically one of them. And the question is like, well, how do you find that? Like, how do we know? And it's a feeling.
Oh, wow.
And so when you said the feeling, I was just like, that's so cool. It's like, well, what are the little things? Like if you were to like close your eyes and like look back to your childhood, to your teens, like what were the little things or little moments or experiences that you had growing up that you look back like really fondly, that you might have had like a little bit more energy towards this thing, or you had this, it's like almost like a little fire within you.
Totally.
And so when you said the feeling, I was like, oh, that's it. There's like this little thing that I love where it's like, you might be, I love doing puzzles, and then you might work your way towards like software or like coding, right?
Exactly.
I think there was a moment, I think it was like Einstein was given a compass, and so from his dad, and so we had this compass. He was obsessed with it, and it was like looking through it, and he wanted to understand how it worked, and then obviously went on and become like an incredible person. Same with Steve Jobs. He walked past a tech shop maybe before it was like considered to be such a big like thing, and he was so fascinated by it. So there's like these little moments like going on, and I think when we have our awareness of like what we really love, what's that little light, it's kind of like we can kind of veer towards what type of employment or career path we might want to choose. Because I think typically like if we love what we do, it's so much more fun, right?
Totally. And that just makes me think like, oh, I hope like everyone gets the exposure to the little moment to have the fire start. Like then you're just like, oh no, I want everyone to like be exposed to everything so that they can have that moment of like inspiration or like the catalyst. It's
the most exciting thing, I think.
Yeah,
like I look at you now, from the small time that I've known you, but from the research that I've done, it's like, it looks like you're very much moving through life very happy and in almost like in a flow. Like you love what you do. I've heard you talk about how much you love writing and film and running, and it's really inspiring, and it looks like you're doing the things that you love. And I was like, I think that is a beautiful takeaway.
I feel like I am, but I feel it's like I have an awareness of like that it's such a privilege to do what you want to do, and that's also why I think it's important to have these conversations really honestly about like what it takes to I think it does come back to that survival thing in a way, because like it's not like it's a privilege to like be paid to play sports or to write.
Yeah.
And it takes sometimes way longer than you, like I wasn't even sponsored really before I made it to the Olympics. It was after, but I was like writing to pay my bills, or I was like living in different places. Like it was like, or I lived in Eugene, Oregon, which was like a really inexpensive place to live. So all I mean is that like, I hope people find that little thing, and then I hope that they find a way to do it with their time, even if it's not your job yet. Even if you're working toward it being your job, there's a time, I think, in this world, like it takes time to make it your job sometimes. And that's okay. Like I just mean to like straight up say, was there a thing?
No, I'm just, it reminded me of your quote, a dream come true. It happens very, very slowly, then all at once.
Yeah, I think it does. And I think when people see successful people, they're like, they just got to do what they want. And it's like, oh, you have no idea like what this has taken. And I don't need you to know. I just need you to know you can do it too if you just keep moving towards progress.
Yeah. And
like, I want people to like really champion progress toward their North Stars versus like perfection or the performance, because it might take longer than you think.
And you'll probably appreciate it so much more after all the hard work.
Well, yeah, and what do you get by something taking forever? I have been totally like interested in this conversation because I was like, well, why would you not want to like take the shortcut if you could? And I was like, because I really don't think shortcuts, I really think we should teach kids like the shortcut is like to your detriment, not to anyone else. Whether you're like taking drugs and trying to perform better in sport, or trying to like get a special path to some job or something, like I don't know, whatever you could like take shortcut for, right?
Yeah.
Or like not eating for weight, like just right, instead of getting strong or exercising or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what you lose, well, let's talk about what you gain by taking the steps and the time and really like earning it. Is it's like an earned body, it's an earned ability to change. And that, like, I'm being really broad, right? Because if it's athletic, right? If you spent all the hours it actually took to like become strong and capable and lean or whatever it is, your body remembers and knows how to change. And therefore you will be a better athlete than the one who took the shortcut. Because your cells know how to change. And same with like any other thing that like the longer, if it takes a while for you to adapt, you earn all of the work that you did to learn how to adapt. And you get that. That's actually, you get that. Does that make sense?
It does, and I'm smiling because this exact topic of conversation is something that Hunter and I talk like about quite often, and it is been consuming my space probably for the last month or maybe a couple months or so. I want to become better at articulating my thoughts. I think that's like something that I want to be better at. We do these guest interviews, but we also have another episode which is around like the psychology of. So learning literature and studies from our psychology, but then also like bringing them in towards like lived experience and kind of that crossover and those little concepts. So it might be around like overcoming fear, or it might be the psychology of like run clubs, or the psychology of, I don't know, whatever the theme is, but being able to articulate that is a goal. It's kind of like where I'm trying to get to, and I think writing is a really great way to be able to, I think, be more concrete in your thoughts. But for me, like writing is hard. Like I think I was good at sports growing up, but academics and writing and reading is like definitely not my strong suit. So it's hard for me. So I have this huge like challenge to overcome. And so sitting down and writing for 30 minutes is difficult. I've heard you say like, if you want to be a writer, you've got to write every day. I've heard you mention that before. And so I'm like, okay, well, if I want to get better at that, like I have to spend time doing the thing. Like it would be so easy if I was to put out a Substack, I could just talk into an AI and get it to publish some, crap that's not even me. But that's the shortcut that you're talking about. I actually want to get better at writing and articulating my thoughts. So I have to go through the process of it being really hard and writing. And then hopefully in a year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years time, I'm much better along the track there. That's kind of the plan.
And hopefully it will make you feel more fulfilled. Because you went from point A to point B, regardless of where your start was. Like wherever your start is, like you earn, I think, so much like joy and happiness and fulfillment from actually doing the whole journey, because you've earned you know you've earned it. Like, I guess it's like we know when we took a shortcut.
Yeah.
And I think it's like psychologically bad. I think it's like poison.
Do you think you learned that through like all the hard work you did having to get to the Olympics?
Yeah, I think I learned it through that. I think I also just like in life, like I haven't really, I mean, I think I was born with some sort of like genetic predisposition to run, so I feel grateful for that. But besides that, I haven't had like a head start on anything at all. And so there can be a feeling, again, I think all of these thoughts are my response to wanting to like not be a loser in life and wanting to stay on my own team. And so when I was like, well, how do I make sense of the fact that there are people that are just like luckier than me or something? And I'm like, well, something has to be great about starting where I started. Otherwise, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, why? How could that be? I don't believe that that could be true. And so I've just been like, I'm going to just live the journey and try to get there too. And when I've gotten there, which is when I'm side by side someone who didn't earn that starting line, whatever that is, I know that I have like a depth and like a confidence and like a joy that I earned. And it's not that they can't earn it, it's that I've definitely earned it and I can feel it. And in athletics, I could feel like on start lines, I don't know, I can just like feel people's energy, and I could, if someone took a shortcut and they were there, like they stood no chance because you can't compete with someone that you know like really earned it. I don't even know, I'm like speaking kind of esoterically now, but like I can just sense in people if they're like really are dense. And density you get from like really living and not taking shortcuts and really like growing.
Is dense, you mean like almost like an inner confidence?
I think it's confidence. I think it's like, I think it's like, it's the thing you earn by really engaging and living like a really tapped in life, like really living the moments, whether it's like your training or you have something that you went through that was hard and you like really worked through it and figured out like you became better because of it. You didn't just like black out and ignore and like not grow. Like we become denser and denser humans, which is amazing. I don't know. This is such a, I don't know if any of this is making sense.
No, it really does.
Like
And I'm actually really enjoying like the path of this, because I look at all the guys and girls that I really look up to. Like the guys and girls that I want to be kind of when I'm like 40, 50, 60, you know, like those guys and girls. And none of them have had it easy. Like they've all gone through really difficult times, whether that being professionally, financially, in their career, in their sport, and they've moved past these, they've grown past it to becoming, like you said, like a really
like
dense,
I
like
don't know if dense is the word.
I'm not sure if dense is the word, but I like it.
To me, it works because
it
it's
works
like
perfect.
it suggests there's like there's just like a lot in there,
Yeah,
right? Because
you're
something
full.
you're full and you're like, and it feels positive. It doesn't feel like it has to be heavy, because density feels like you could have dense muscle and it's very capable, right? So it doesn't feel like weighty. And it's just like, it's cool. And it's, all I can say is like, nobody has to like subscribe to this. I'm just saying I feel happy and this is how I see life. And like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even care that anyone's like, I like that way of thinking. It's like, if it works for you, great. It does work for me. And I do believe in it. And I do believe that it puts agency into your hands, because it's not about outward facing results, because as long as you can improve, wherever you start is fine. You're just looking to like stay curious and grow and improve in whatever this is, whether it's like a personality trait, a fear, or an actual like tangible goal that you have. It lets everybody have a chance to have like a really awesome life, in my opinion.
Well, I think it's also true in the reverse of that, and I can only speak for myself, but like say if you know of someone who takes a shortcut, or if you know of someone who probably doesn't have the same like morals or values to you, and maybe like take shortcuts in like in their personal life, like in the most respectful way, probably someone I don't want to be around, right?
That's a coward.
That is a coward. Yes,
that's another thing is I've been like, it's like, I get people do cowardly things, but I don't really fuck with cowards.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't, And I think it's a really good distinguisher of like people. I think some people are cowards. They don't have to be, but they are letting themselves be, right?
And they might have been a coward in a time, and they might have made mistakes. We all make mistakes.
Sure.
But move on from like the ability to move past that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I think you'll be more dense if you've been a coward before and you filled out a little bit. I think you will be more dense.
Yeah, because that's where you start. You started as that.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have told you at the beginning of this that I was like my one of my favorite experiences at the Olympics was I had like a really, really fun bus ride with an Australian rugby player back from the opening ceremonies.
Do you remember his name?
No, but when I showed my friend who's Australian, whose dad was like really into rugby, the picture, he knew who it was. Okay. So I could show you the picture from Rio, but we went to opening ceremonies and my race was like 2 days later, so I couldn't like drink or anything. But he was like so drunk and this like a hilarious, like awesome outfit. Yeah. And he was so happy. And I was like, oh my God, you're drinking? He's like, yeah. He's like, we're not gonna win the Olympics. He's like, we're having a good time.
That's so fun.
And we like rode the bus back together and we were like Olympic friends and it was like he was so nice. And I bet you I would show you his picture and you know who he was, but it was such a happy memory of mine. It was like one of my first Olympic friends was this Australian rugby player.
I imagine you probably met so many like cool people along the way, along the journey.
Too.
Yeah.
It's really cool. People want to meet people too. And it's like this so cool.
Do you meet and I imagine it's probably the same with your podcast. Why'd you start the podcast?
Well, I started it, it was not my idea at first. Yeah. It was like someone who really believed in me's idea. And I do like the subject of mentorship a lot. And I do want to learn things. Like I want to learn how to garden. Like genuinely I want to learn. But, so it was like this idea of like, can I sit down with people and learn from what they learned from people? Because I don't have time or ability to access all of this knowledge. So it's genuinely like I want to learn, and I wanted people to, because it's called Mentor Buffet and it's about mentorship, and I wanted people to see mentorship as like more dynamic than just like somebody taps you on the shoulders like I will mentor you. Right? I wanted people to see it as like a moment of mentorship is a moment when you learn from somebody else. So someone could be your mentor and they don't even know. They don't even know you because you just heard them on a podcast or something. And that made me feel again like we could give people something that anybody can have and that everybody deserves, which is like wisdom from people.
Well, it's like I think I've learned so many incredible things through podcasts growing up, which is why I was like, I would love to like start my own podcast. And that was like, well, I get to choose the people that I want to talk to. I was like, what do you mean? You can like have the most beautiful conversations. It's just so fun. What do you think's been the bigger, like your favorite learning out of your podcast over the last like 2-3 years? Oh
my gosh. Oh, I do learn from every single guest, to be honest. But let me think about like, oh my gosh.
It's such a tricky
question.
It's
a really...
So when someone asks you like, who's your favorite podcast? He's like, oh, there's been so many.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just like, it's like I'm thinking about the people I just spoke to recently because, oh my God. I'm jet lagged. Are you jet lagged?
So jet lagged.
Yeah, I was like, when did you get here?
A couple of days ago. Okay, I felt I was asleep like... before I came here.
Yeah, okay, you're really
We had like 30 hours of travel getting here.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Oh my God. The person I learned from, well, I just had this double gold medalist on, and she told me that to like stay sharp, she always does something that she's bad at. Like she wants to be the freshman at something because of that muscle that learns how to change. What better place to learn how to change than something you're terrible at? So she was like, I want to try stand-up. I want to try singing. I want to try these things and she doesn't want to be professional at them. She just wants to be bad and then learn because she thinks that adaptation is healthy for her as an athlete. And you actually gain a lot. For sure. So I was like, that's rad to actually see a performance benefit in doing something that you're bad at. That's so left field. I wouldn't have even put that. I get it. I get 100% where they're coming from. Is there something that you've tried recently that you like new at? Like a new learning? Yeah, I tried singing. Did you? Yeah, I've been singing. Is she going to see on the podcast? Yeah. Is the I have a singing coach, but I did it because I feel like the two muscles that we have that we either know or don't have an awareness of are our voice and our body. And I don't know I have a good friend who like never grew up playing sports, and like her body awareness is just wrecked. She doesn't know how to like walk. She never learned like coordination. So she started doing like physical stuff to just learn like a body awareness, right? Which we take for granted.
Yeah.
You're probably so like your body is you know, like it's your tool.
Yeah.
Our voice, I have no awareness of this tool that we use all the time. So I wanted to take these lessons to just learn more about this other thing that I don't know anything about, but I use all the time.
Wow. What, for conversation, for the podcast, just for life?
I don't know. I don't know because I don't know what I don't know.
Interesting.
So I was like, this should be like a tool that I have some like orientation with.
Wow.
And I am learning.
That is so interesting. I would never have thought to do something like that. Because I think about it from, say, the podcast point of view. I was just like, I would love to put myself in positions where it kind of like forces you to grow as like a speaker, as like a conversationalist. So what are they called? It's like a group of people, and that you're kind of like forced to like, it's not like improv, but it's kind of a time where it's like forces you to get up and speak in front of people.
Yes. Wait.
What's that called?
I was gonna say like speech class, but like
maybe though.
Hold on a second. Are you telling me you're doing this podcast because you want to force yourself into like a situation where you'll be getting better or getting reps at something you're not good at? Partly.
Not the main point, but I guess that comes along with it.
That's one of the things.
Sure, it comes along with it.
And it helps you because there's like a real deadline, and like there's real audience, and there's real stakes to it, so you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like, how did you go from your very first podcast episode to you a couple of years down the track? Is it much of a difference?
Yeah, I was so uncomfortable, and I did find it interesting because I was having trouble like being myself in that room.
What do you mean?
Oh, Rich Roll is like a mentor of mine, and it's his network that I'm in, and he and my other mentor Greg they were just like, Alexi, you just got to figure out how to just be yourself in there. And that was like the hardest task of all.
Really?
Like when you can't be yourself, it feels so weird. It feels like there's like you on the other side of like a glass door, and you're just like, like I'm there and I'm here and I can't get through it. And I figured out how to like do it, which like was a very specific like process for me.
What'd you do?
Well, because I would get there was some door in the hallway of my head that I would go down where I was just like not able to access it. And I thought about when I do acting, which is not like frequently, but sometimes I always have a playlist for like the character, and it like drops me right into them. And so I found a few songs that like helped me just like drop into myself before going into the episode.
That's cool.
And it helped me to just like kind of just let the noise go away and like drop in, and I was like, I'm myself.
That's really cool.
So music does help.
Can I tell you my thing?
Yeah. What's your thing?
Because I'm very much the same. I was like, when we started the podcast, I think, like people say like, what's your superpower? Or like, what's your intellect? I think mine is like the ability to make people feel comfortable. Like that's the whole goal when we have a conversation, is to make them feel comfortable so you can have a beautiful conversation. And I can't let them feel comfortable if I'm not completely in the conversation. So I knew that from the very start. As soon as we started the podcast, and I'm so grateful that I had that awareness, is like, you've got to be yourself, because if you're not yourself and you put on this like little facade, then people aren't going to resonate with it, and they're not going to watch it. So I say 3 things to myself before every podcast. I say, be calm, be present, be curious.
Oh, that's really good.
Because it's like calm, like you don't want to be over erratic, you don't want to be over, like too hyped up.
Yeah.
Be like present, like I want to be here with you now.
100%.
And even like, I think I was thinking around towards the end of the conversation, I want to thank you for being so present, because I can feel that you're present here in this conversation, which is actually really
said crazy things.
Which today. It's really nice. It's really.
Sorry, like you can cut out the. Well, because sometimes I do think, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're in the Therabody activation at the Boston Marathon. But if I really just answer your question, I don't caveat in myself, then it's better, because it's just true.
I completely agree, but it allows you to show up as like completely yourself, which is like the most beautiful thing. And then lastly is like being curious.
That's great.
And I think that's the big one. I'm having like this internal battle, like whether I have like my iPad on or not.
Yeah.
And so like you saw me pick it up before and I put it straight back down because I didn't want to have it with me. I used to have this thing where I'd have a notepad and I would have like little words. So say for you, I would have done a bunch of research. I would have spoken to you on the lead up. Sometimes I might like have known them beforehand or speak to family and friends. And so there might have been like creativity, it might have been like writing, it might have been like transition out of sport, it might have been like key words.
Yeah.
Now since I've got the iPad, I've got a lot more information on there. I've got like specific questions that I wanted to have prior, but I did a couple episodes and I found that I was on my iPad and I was like, I was with you, but I was kind of thinking about the next thing.
Yeah.
And I hated it. And so now I put it away and it allows me to be with you, which is great.
I think this is a great place to bring it back to this art exhibit theme, because the truth is that what we were trying to do here is compare or look at like movement as art. And that's been the biggest evolution in like my athletic career. And it sounds like also how you've evolved as like a host here, because if, at least for me, like going into the Olympics, there was like a goal that you were trying to get to, and you wanted the results to like land on a certain day and time. And so you're kind of working backwards from the goal. In art, you're moving towards like a feeling, you're present, you adapt, you follow it, you know like sort of where you're headed, but there's no like time and place at the end of it, which is kind of like the questions on your iPad are like, that would be like, I need to get to this thing. And I think the idea of this whole thing was to try to encourage people, now that they're at the Boston Marathon, they've already done the time and the place to get here. That's really, really hard. They should just try and be present and just see this as like more artistic, which is you're following a feeling, you're following what today really is. And that's more like art. So that was kind of, I think, the inspiration here was to get people to like think about their movement as art a little bit.
I really love that. And because beforehand you said when you were at the Olympics you separated the two. You said you couldn't have them together. At what point did you realize that you could bring them together?
I think I felt like I had to achieve like a certain level of like, I didn't want one to be an excuse for the other. I didn't want someone to be like, well, like she's kind of good at running, but she also makes art. Like I wanted people to be like, she's definitely a runner and she definitely makes art. And then, so I did feel like I needed to like have a baseline of like skills, or like they needed to stand on their own 2 feet before they could like dance together. And that's just how I felt. And I didn't want to excuse the other. If that makes sense.
But do you think they can complement each other?
For sure. But I think you need to have like skills, and like I think they are their own crafts, and I also think they can inform each other.
What do you
mean? Like to be a great writer, there's like skills exclusive to writing. To be a great runner, there's skills exclusive to running and strengths in both. You need those no matter what. However, they can also help each other, right? Like writing can be a practice that you show up to every day, just like you do in your sport.
Gotcha. Okay.
Running the way writing informs running is like, there's so many ways. It can be adaptive, it can change, the way you feel can overcome the way your body feels, right? There's a lot there, I think. It's expressive. But, sorry, I feel like I forgot your question.
It was when did they start to...
they intersected. They intersected more like really, really recently. Like they always kind of have like in themes and things like that. But now I'm just like fully just me. And whatever comes out of me, it's like I'm less identifying as like I'm a writer, I'm a runner. I'm like, I'm Alexi. Whatever I do is like, it is all coming from one place. In my
you've got
opinion.
multiple layers.
And there's like one, it's like coming out of me instead of like, this is over here and this is over here. There's just like one place it all comes out. It's like I'm like a soft serve machine, and I'm like now the like both flavors.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, I know.
Right?
And to be honest, like I want to have all three flavors. You know,
right.
like when I like deal with people, you know, like
That's right.
you want to have people with different layers. It's like the people, like if I was to just talk to someone who was like obsessed with one, like sure, like that's cool. But when someone's like had this really unique hobby or passion that's like totally left field, where it might be like collecting like coins, or like they're really good athlete, but they also have this like business adventure, and they're kind of curious around this like other really random thing. I think those people are just like the most interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just me.
No, you're right.
Yeah. We discussed a little bit of like success, and I know you said like success is kind of can be like just like almost just like it's like a vertical. It's like an offer on. What do you think success looks like for you now, or like what do you want to be doing now and going forward?
I mean, I have real goals. Like I do want to do some tangible things. Like but I think that they come first from like an intrinsic thing. But there are goals that you have that you like hang your intrinsic coats on, because we need to do things in the world, I think, in order to like actually, I think most things become like tangible in some way. I really want to make a TV show. That's like one of the things I want to do.
Oh, wow.
But that's because it kind of reminds me of like sports translated into the arts, and I'm curious if that's true. So like there's seasons, there's episodes, which are like games. You win some, you lose some. There's a team. Characters, there's a team. Yeah. Like there's something about it that I'm like, I think I would like that.
Yeah.
So I'm working towards that. I'm really curious, like, is that what it is?
It's like, how would you even go about that? Like, how does that even start?
Oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Yeah.
Like you're writing it?
I just sold an animated show to HBO, so I will be writing it. With Michelle Wolf.
That's comedian. So cool.
Yeah,
wow.
It's really fun.
That's so impressive.
But that took years and years and years, so it took forever. So I'm trying it. We're like in contracts and things, so we'll see.
Gotcha.
But I'm excited. And then I want to run a personal best in the marathon, which I don't know if I can do with all this like art that I'm doing, but I think I can.
What does that look like? What's PB?
I've never run like a fully healthy marathon. I've run like a 2:34, but I want to run a healthy one, and I want to run faster than that.
Wow.
So that's not that comparable to like my track times.
Yeah.
So, but it's fast enough. It's just I could do better, and I want to be healthy.
How would you compare the marathon distance versus like your track distance versus like the ultra marathons that you've done? Like, how does that all sit with you now? Like, do you have a favorite? Is there kind of a space where you want to lean into more?
That's a great question. Well, I don't have as much curiosity on the track because I already kind of like did it at like the peak. Like I did it fully.
Yeah.
Like I felt the change in me and I felt the commitment. Ultra, I actually just like it more fun. Like I like being able to stop at the aid stations and be like macaroni and cheese or chicken soup.
Yeah.
Whereas when I tried to compete in one, it was way less fun because I had to like not be social and like every hill and rock I was like curse that rock when I just want to be like cool rock, like hill, okay, I'll walk, you know. And so I like ultra for fun. And the marathon I always thought was like super mysterious to me, and I was like, I'm not sure, it feels intense for my personality type. But now I feel curious about it because I've done so many not competitively now, like so many, that I am curious how it would feel to have the fitness to like actualize with who I am today as like a person and an athlete.
Yeah.
So that's why I have a curiosity, that little flame that you talked about. I feel it for the marathon, I think. So I'm moving toward it, but we'll see.
I like that.
Yeah.
Any advice for someone that's looking to get into the ultra space? I've when I finished footy a couple of years ago, I did like a 14K, like which was for me like rugby. We don't run that far in rugby. Maybe you do if you're like a important player on the team.
Far.
It's far. So I did the 14K and then jumped into a 50K ultra in the Blue Mountains, and it was so fun. And now we've got this project to run all the marathons, the major marathons. But I
love that you're doing that.
Yeah, it's so fun. Well, we've got a goal to raise like $100,000 for Movember, which is like a men's mental health organisation, which is a big goal. They've been a big part for us. But it's almost like the marathons is cool, but I'd also love to get into the ultra space, multi-day space. Any tips? Any advice for me?
I got this awesome advice from this ultra runner that I will share with you. I think it was the best advice that helped me through Leadville when I wasn't really prepared for it. This is like 100 miles.
It's like 100 miler, yeah.
Crazy, like altitude, so hard. And he said, you have to make a bajillion decisions in an ultra marathon, like from, is it water, is it electrolytes, is it walk, is it run, is it mashed potatoes, is it soup, like, and over the course of hours and hours and hours. And he said, you're gonna have to make a lot of decisions. Do not labor over any one decision. You can always make another decision. Keep making decisions. Make the decision, make the decision, make the decision.
Gotcha.
And it was so helpful because, yeah, if you decide to go from walking to running and then you decide, actually, I want to be walking again, just make another decision.
Gotcha.
Instead of being like, should I walk or should I run? It's like, just make it.
Sure.
Because I think there's like that willpower associated with making the decision. There's a sense of shame of like, is it the right decision? It's like, actually, you can't know till you experience it.
Yeah.
And don't waste the energy. I think a lot of, what we talked about earlier is like the wasted energy on the emotional, like conversations like that, like the fear one and all this. So it was great advice. It really helped me.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that. I'm going to use it.
It's really helpful. Like genuinely, I think it's like a game changer because you can tell when people are like spinning their wheels for the wrong thing. Like it's hard enough to go 100 miles or whatever you're going to do, 100K, whatever. That's hard. Don't make it even harder.
You're like sprinting in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's just like, also there's a kind of like, to labor over the decision longer is acting like you should know the answer. You actually can only make your best guess. You can't know until you make the decision. So it's kind of foolish to think you could make the decisions any more educated. Like, not really. Not for these little decisions that you make. I
gotcha. Lexi, I've loved this chat.
Thank you so much.
This has been so fun.
I really appreciate it. And you can cut out anything that was too crazy.
Yeah, I didn't even know what we were talking about for the last hour. But no, thank you for having us like here. I think like
I love this.
The art is so awesome. For those who are listening or not watching, we've got this like really incredible art exhibition. We'll put it all up on our socials. But no, thank you so much. And thanks for the chat.